being shaken
Mm-hmm.
stronger than you would normally see.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Knocking over stuff, it would also depends on, the integrity of, let's say, of a very not a building that's ready to fall. If ants walk on it, then it may fall over, but your average building should be fine. All right.
All
But
right.
things lying about, especially lighter stuff, not too in terms of dangerous, like finding debris flying through the air. So it would just be on the lower scale of things that would more likely move if you have a high winds on a regular day.
Mm-hmm.
Banana trees, according to where they positioned, on the hillsides or on breezy sides of mountains and so on. We have banana trees falling on regular days. So, to use it as a comparison is a
Yes.
little.
That's true. That's true. So basically, what you're saying is, if you did not build back smart after Maria, without the hurricane ties and without your, proper straps and stuff, you'll be in trouble. Yeah.
Well, if your house rocking side to side when you're walking in it, you'll be in trouble. But unless that's the case for most of us, you'll be fine.
Okay. Thank you for that, Dane. Thank you so much. So we're also going to join the discussion with Primrose and Anil as well, and we're just gonna get the ball rolling, right, for the rest of the discussion. So just any one of you feel comfortable to answer, we can go ahead with that. So tell us a bit about the hurricane season. We have children of all different ages listening. How long does hurricane season last?
Well, the hurricane season lasts for approximately 5 months and 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So it's usually from June 1st to November 30th each year.
Awesome. And the next one, Primrose, if you want to take that, what are the different categories of a hurricane?
Well, the categories stem from 1 to 5, but Dane is the best person to answer that question.
Yes, Dane. So, Dane, feel free to step in. Can you hear me?
If he's not there, I can do it
Yeah.
then. Okay, go ahead then.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Go ahead
Yes, you
again.
can go ahead. I was asking what are the different categories of a hurricane?
Oh, all right. So categories of a hurricane, we have from 1 to 5. So one, two, three, four, and five, starting with the category one being the weakest and category five being the strongest, which is now being debated, but it goes from 1 to 5. And the wind speeds, as we would go from category one, would be between 74 to 95 miles per hour. If you want that in kilometers, that would be 119 to 153 kilometers an hour. So that's the first level of strength. Then we have category two, which would be wind speeds of 96 to 110 miles per hour, or in kilometers, 154 to 177 kilometers an hour. The impact of those winds are extremely dangerous and they can lead to extensive damage. Trees can be uprooted, power outages for several days according to the structural destruction, and so on from category two. Just to give a synopsis of category one as well, it can cause some damages to roofs and sidings or mobile homes in lands that have mobile homes, as well as like breaking of small tree branches and so on. Then we would move to category three, which would begin going into the area of major hurricanes, which would be wind speeds from 111 to 129 miles per hour, or kilometers of 178 to 208 kilometers an hour. Synopsis of these major hurricanes would be major roof and structural damages to even well-built homes, and loss of utilities for an extended amount of time, depending on how much damage. We then would have stepping up to category four, which would be wind speeds of 130 to 156 miles per hour, and kilometers an hour of 209 to 251. Catastrophic as well, could render places inhabitable due to the high wind forces and the destruction of homes and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, above the level above that, category five, which would be 157 miles per hour or higher. And for kilometers, that would be 250 kilometers an hour or higher. Same conditions as a category four, catastrophic destruction.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. Thank you so much for that breakdown, Dean. Very, very informative. But basically, what I'm hearing you saying here is let's not take our warnings as a joke. That's what I'm hearing you saying. Right? A lot of the times when we hear, there's a hurricane watch or there's a warning on the radio issued by the ODM, people feel like it's only at that time they need to go and do a little shopping, buy a little extra milk, buy two candles. But when we understand or we take that commitment to live a life of preparedness, and that's one of the reasons I joined the YAC myself, is because I believe as an individual you should always be prepared, right? You should just be ready to go, ready to roll. Would you guys mind sharing with me, Primrose, Anil, let's give the listeners a few tips on personal preparedness.
Before we move to the tips, I just want to give the listeners a background as to what the Office of Disaster is about.
Okay.
So the Office of Disaster Management is the secretariat to the umbrella organization, which is called NIPO, the National Emergency Planning Organization. And the Honorable Prime Minister is the chairperson for NIPO. So the Office of Disaster Management, just the secretariat to NIPO. And under the Office of Disaster Management, we have the district committees and volunteers, which Kernillia is a part of. And I just want to say thanks to our volunteers, because without you, all the work that we're doing, we will not be able to do that. And our mission statement here at ODM is that we are committed to taking proactive and timely measures to reduce or prevent disasters on our people and the entire Dominica by extension. And a few tips that we could have for national preparedness is that cut overhanging trees around your home, because we have to secure our home.
And you'll hear it again,
Yes.
and you'll say it again.
Yes, for
Yes.
the entire season. Secure your roofs and board up your windows. Protect your home, protect your surroundings, clear drains, and let water flow freely. These are some of the tips that we give to persons around the communities.
Awesome. And basically that also goes, not just for you personally, but how you can help as a community member. So, sometimes you have an elderly person that cannot cut their overhanging trees. If you can, obviously lend a hand, because you understand that debris in one person's yard becomes projectiles during a storm, right? So if that person needs a hand, why not help them clear their gutter? Because if the gutter at the bottom blocked, but you clear the top, it's still going to have an effect. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Is very, very important.
Definitely so. So let's share some more tips as to how can one be prepared, or how can they respond during and after hurricane.
Another hurricane tip is for your personal preparedness, that is, we should stock up on dry food and water for at least 3 days. And we should also ensure that drains and waterways are clear and free of debris, because this can cause flooding, and during a disaster, flooding is a no-no. Right now we have the how you call it, leptospirosis disease on a rampage, right?
Yes.
And so we need to be mindful that walking into dirty water right after a storm is not, I repeat, not a good thing and not a good idea. And so you should always wait for the all clear to be given.
Indeed. It appears we might have a caller. Hello, good afternoon.
Nice.
Let's see. Good afternoon.
Afternoon,
Good afternoon. We can hear you now. You can go ahead.
and good afternoon to your panelists.
Welcome to You Vibes.
I observed that there is a Met officer on our program. But I want to make a contribution to your program. A very interesting program, but is a matter of concern also. I'll tell you, I worked in the Public Works Department for over 39 years, up till 2006. Now, in each district, I know, in each district, there used to be a Public Works Division office. Now, prior to hurricane season, we went on a campaign to clean up all culverts, all overhanging trees that we know that would be dangerous to both buildings and natural life. We did that. Gutters, we cleaned most vulnerable gutters. Okay? Now, also, in each district, either at the public works office or at the police stations, we used to have what we call a hurricane box. And in that hurricane box was a variety of items: cooking utensils, pickaxes, axes. There were not chainsaws at that time, so we did not have chainsaws, but we had axes, cutlasses, shovels, all types of things that would have been used during and after a heavy storm. And one of the things we used to, I don't know if you can recall, a couple of weeks ago, there was this heavy flood in Calibishi. Fortunately, this is my village. There used to be this flood, and I know for a fact there was a very big drain at the back of the village beneath the cliffs that was constructed, taking that drain to the storm drain into the main river area. Apparently, this flood may have been caused because that drain may be possible was not being maintained. People living around the area, if they throw things into the drain, and which caused the blockage, and the blockage caused this heavy flood. I know for a fact that this drain was constructed. Now,
so
what is going to happen? What is going to happen now, especially that there is no more public works maintenance districts?
What about the village council?
I do not know.
But you said you're from
Village
the village,
council
right?
would play their part. Village council would play their part maybe after a storm or whatever it is. But I do not know what are the workings or what are the involvement now of village councils during that time.
Okay, so
but I know for a fact it was a job.
My question to you, caller, is who in the community have you reported this to?
Well, unfortunately, my dear, I retired from the public works department.
Yes, and what's your name?
My name is Mr. Victor Joseph. I am from the village of Kalibishi. I worked in the public works department for 39 years.
Yes. Are you still living in Kalibishi?
I am now migrated.
Ah, okay. So you're not Dominica anymore?
I am in Dominica. I am very often. I am in Dominica.
Oh, okay.
And last year there was a similar program where I called the office of, and at the time we did not have office of disaster preparedness and those things.
I'm gonna put you off air so we can take your number and we'll look into this further. Okay?
I appreciate it, but that's why I'm listening to you all. I just wanted to make this comment on my observation over the past and what you're talking about the present.
Ah, okay. Okay, so it's not that you want a call back follow up per se, but you wanted to bring the situation to light.
I could be of assistance to anyone who requires it, because I have a working knowledge of all those things. As I told you, I have been with the public works department for 39 years, and I worked in all districts of Dominica, north, south, east, and west.
Okay, so just hang on, and I will get your number shortly. All right. All right, so we're gonna go back to the discussion. We just want to have a little understanding. Go back to the tips. In the instance where a hurricane passes, when would you say it is safe for somebody to leave their home, or safe to leave a hurricane shelter? Do they leave right away? Like, what is the process for that?
I think they should wait for when the all clear is given by the Office of Disaster Management. and ensure that the roads, or ensure that it's safe to do so before leaving the hurricane shelter.
All right, awesome. I know sometimes when people hear going to, like, you think of going to a hurricane shelter, they feel like when they go there, they're going to get everything. All the food, the toys, clothes for their children, everything. How should one pack for before they head to a hurricane shelter?
Well, ensure that you have a backpack, and your backpack has all the necessary things that you may need for at least 2-3 days after the storm. And that would include canned foods, medical documents, medicines, travel documents to include your passports, your birth certificate, water. If you have children, bring a toy or two so they could play.
Definitely agree on that one for sure. I don't want to just stay strictly on ODM, but we also want to open the discussion to Kernillia as well. But in regards to ODM, do you all do any like activities like at schools, like to help the children? Because people feel sometimes they're tiny, they don't necessarily have a role to play. All they need to do is maybe just hold the bag and wait. But children, we understand that they are very smart and they see and practice what they have observed. So what roles or like what programs do you all have at school to help children get involved in preparedness?
So the ODM do conduct school visits where we inform and educate the children about disaster management practices. And what we do with them is further somewhat like practical exercises as well, so they could be more in tune and more familiar with the practices. And we engage them in some mini drills as well for tsunamis and earthquakes. And the ODM has also hosted a skit production for primary school students in the Roseau district, and a Disaster Kids Quiz Bowl for schools in the Northern District of the island, and also held a disaster public speaking competition for high schools in Roseau at the Office of Disaster Management this year only.
Okay, good stuff. You're all getting out there. I feel like when you work in those type of fields, you maybe feel very fulfilled as an individual. You're getting to see the impact of your work, man, like the lives you touch in.
Oh yes, all the time.
Awesome. Before we kind of close off the ODM segment, towards the end, we'll have you guys share one last time before we go off. But let's just take a little musical pause right now, and then we're going to go across to Miss Adams, and then we'll do a nice collaboration in the ending. Okay?
Okay.
We actually have this song right now by Jermaine Edwards, and not forgetting to mention the producer for the show actually is Miss Lydia Miss Lydia Libla. Can I give you my cousin another last name? I give you a whole husband there, And this song is Jermaine Edwards. It's called My Champion.
Strong, oh yeah, you are our champion. I love you with my heart, my mind and my soul. Whatever you say is so. Oh Jesus. Your presence is so dear to me. Your glory is all I need. Oh, great Jesus.
well, when it comes to praise and worship, oh my, it's like we could stay here all day because that is just so sweet. It's just so comforting, right? And I want us to not forget, to not pray only during time of disaster and during hurricane season only. All right, we're not going to pray only when we need Jesus. Let's pray all the time. A little conversation here and there, you're walking along the road. Say, thank you, Jah. Nothing wrong with that. Right? Whatever your God is called, say thank you and don't wait until you're only in crisis to call out to him. I mean, he'll still hear you, but it's nice to say hi here and there. So we have as well with us Miss Kernillia Adams. Very, very eloquent young lady. Kernillia for... All right. But Kernillia, I'll have you introduce yourself.
Thank you, Jewelé. Okay, so my name is Kernillia Adams. I am currently the newly elected president of the Youth Emergency Action Committee. Previously, in one of the interviews, I said that YAC is in the restructure process, and we did that. So I am currently the new president, but it's same YAC, same Kernillia. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have a few youth groups around the island, but we actually have one main council, and Kernillia was elected the president of that. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes. So well deserved. Tell the public a little bit about the group.
Okay, so the Youth Emergency Action Committee is an organization, it's a youth-led organization for increased climate resilience. And over the years, YAC has grown more than we anticipated as well. This month, YAC celebrates its 6th anniversary, and our collaborative effort with our communities show that the work that we do, it does make a difference. Some of what we do at YAC is train young people and emphasize on young people in disaster preparedness, life skills, response trainings. And the young people have now grasped all these skills and are now teaching their communities, teaching their peers. So today, YAC stands as an organization where at any moment, any organization like ODM, on my right, collaborate with young people to do important and necessary trainings and other skills, or like to treat or to go forth in disaster preparedness. Yeah. But Jewelé is also part of YAC, so Jewelé can also tell you some of the things that we do. Public speaking is one. I don't think I know a YAC member that's afraid to speak in public now. So
yes, definitely. Public speaking is one of them. You might be shy at first, but once you catch yourself and you kind of speak, you know the material you're speaking about, you're kind of more confident when you're familiar with the material. But YAC is truly a phenomenal organization, and it's not just about speaking or saying that you're gonna get something done. When we say we're there, or when we say we're gonna show up, we're gonna pop. We're gonna pop up, right? And we're popping up in numbers. Trust
me.
Yeah.
So as of today, shout out to Dominica Solid Waste and YAC Southeast and YAC St. Anne's. YAC have 5 districts. I saw you guys mention 3, but we have 5. Actually 5.
Yes.
Point Michel being the first, Roseau being the second, St. Andrews being the third, and the Southeast. And now we have our St. Anne's group. So kudos to these groups, especially those who went out to do Cleaner Mile today. That is one of our collaborative efforts with Dominica Solid Waste, where we go out every year, and it's seen as a mitigation for us because it helps us clean up our environment before hurricane, cut down overlapping trees, clear gutters, and yeah. And as our partners at ODM mentioned, leptospirosis is on the rise. And better safe than sorry.
Yes.
Yes. So keeping your environment clean is necessary, because cleanliness is closer to godliness.
That's it.
Boy, Primrose, take that one to heart. And Primrose, you're a clean person, just generally. That you're always on fleek.
Oh,
anyway, that's just part of it, yeah? Yes, so shout out to everybody who did the Cleaner Mile. It's a really great initiative. And you have to be committed as a youth group and as a person. When you make a commitment to doing something, you always have to give your all. Yeah, so in regards to YAC, during the hurricane season, could you share a little bit with the listeners, like what type of involvement that we have going on?
Okay, so during the hurricane season, YAC is actively involved in our communities and our members, of course. So we introduced this program called Family Disaster Plans, where we start off with our members, where they take these plans, they go to their homes, and they sit down with their family, have a discussion as to simple questions for the kids, for the elderlies. Everybody could understand what is our plan during the hurricane season, what is our plan during a disaster, what do we do if we're not at home during a disaster. So some of the questions on the family disaster plan is basically like knowing your emergency contacts, because something could happen and the kids at home and they don't know who to call. So we involve all these. Where do you store livestock? Where do you store some of your valuables, your cars, if you have boats or whatever you have that needs to be secured? Where do you go if your home is not safe? We also give a listings of your emergency shelters, evacuation plans, and so forth. And we don't only give you this one time. So when we do this with our members go back in their communities and they do it with their neighbors and other persons in their communities. And then we create a community plan. And some of our members did CMEX, shelter plans, how to manage a shelter, what to bring to a shelter, and ODM already mentioned you pack your bag, so we call it our go bag. And we have like flashlights, clothes, non-perishable items, important documents, and also keep in mind that the shelters are not a hotel that you have to walk with your stuff. You have to be very vigilant, very open-minded that there are different people within the shelters. And also in the past we've collaborated with ODM on disaster campaigns where we'd go to vulnerable communities and villages to speak about disasters, and the people look so forward to those things that YAC actually continued with it, and people would meet us and say, when all you and then people coming back now, I say not those people, ODM. I say ODM, I remember. So I say like, okay, but you can always check out ODM page, you can always check out YAC page. This page I was always actively involved, not only during hurricane season but after, giving you tips,
And just to add, like, if you feel like you need that type of community engagement, feel free to reach out to ODM. They'll call YAC if needed, and we'll do like a nice little village meeting for you, but you have to reach out early enough that it can be put into place before the rain starts, right? So feel free to reach out. That's what we're here for. We're here for sensitization. We want people to be informed, and when you're educated you can make better decisions, right? So you know that when the water starts to rise up past a certain level, you're not going to try and you put your children on your back and run across that water. It's not going to work. The water is stronger than you, right? So we learn about these things and we learn how to think fast and make life-saving decisions in that split second.
And so also you mentioned about the younger children. In the past, YAC have done initiatives with Israel for safe schools. Letting the children know what the types of disasters are, how to prepare for them, and even little disaster plans for themselves, as simply as knowing your mom's number or the police station, the ambulance number and stuff like that. And
even where to go.
Yes.
So another thing to practice with your children are what are the muster points in your community. Right? There's flooding, you go to the savannah or you go to the council house, you go to the neighbor, so we know where to find you. So guys, reach out. You have the resources here, you have the young people willing to help. Reach out to us and we'll be more than happy to have that meeting with you. Kernillia, in regards to YAC, do we have like a youth disaster action plan?
Nationally, I cannot speak for everybody, but within YAC, I can say that we do have a plan. A part of being a YAC member, when you fill out your family disaster plan, we do it on Kobo. So Kobo takes the exact location of your home and and all the information that is registered when you answer this form. So in case of an emergency, we do reach out to our members, so we can locate you, we can know how we can assist you during the disaster. So I think I can say that YAC members and YAC do have a youth disaster plan among our organization, and we would be more than willing to introduce that to other youth organizations and other persons in our communities as always.
All right, awesome sauce. Just before we wrap up, can you share with people listening? You know, sometimes your power listening, they want to tell you you can join a group. How does one join YAC?
So YAC application stands as is. You go to our website or you go on Facebook, Instagram, you click on that link and it says apply, like apply in really large letters. So when you go there, you click on that and you just at all. So you'll just put in the information required and from there you'll get a call. You know, we'll add you in a probationary group chat and so forth. And yeah, little time use YAC member. But we always look for commitment. It's not about just joining a group, but being committed to it. Sometimes it could be weary. You'd be feeling like it's only you alone. But like I tell my members, like I tell everyone, one person start walking and others will follow. You know, it may not be the person that you thought would follow, but somebody must follow.
Yes.
Yeah.
And YAC is most definitely a great unit. It's not just about a team, but it's like a family setting. So we have a lot of peer support in there. It's just a good team to be a part of. I want to play this song. It's we use it during some of our meetings and stuff. It's a song by Benji and Michael Henderson about what's your plan. So let's just hear this one, and then we're gonna come back to our final thoughts for the show today. Okay.
Disaster can strike at any time. Are you prepared?
Mr. Benji N2O, Michael Henderson, and the Dominica Red Cross asking you, what's your plan?
When it's raining fire, tell me what you're gonna do. When this rumbling earth beneath your feet, and you look up and see it's raining fire, tell me where you're gonna go. When the time is at hand, do you have a plan to save your life? There's a few things you should know. First, you need some education on the plan for evacuation to know the safest places to go. Listen to your radio, 'cause there'll be warnings on the air, on TV and everywhere. Know the safe and quickest way to pass. Be wise, act fast. Fire, tell me what you're gonna do when it's rumbling earth beneath your feet, and you look up and see it's raining fire. Tell me where you're gonna go when the time is at hand.
All right, that's Michael Henderson and Benji, guys. You know, sometimes we have earthquakes, we have volcanoes on the island. Anything can happen, right? So let's be prepared, not just for hurricane season, but let's just be prepared overall. Let's live that lifestyle of preparedness. So, guys, Dane is also still with us. So, Dane, before we go, I'd just like you to leave one tip with the general public in regards to being prepared. Let's start with Anil, and we'll come back across to checks.
All right, so I have one tip for persons living in the emergency shelter after the all-clear has been given. So one of the things you can do when the all-clear has been given and you're leaving the shelter is to let other shelters know where you are going, so that in the event something happens or anything happens directly after that event, people will know where to find you or where to locate you after that event.
Awesome.
And just to add on the hurricane shelters, know where your hurricane shelters are in your community. Make it your priority to know exactly where your shelters are located. The list is out there on our Facebook page, so know where your shelters are located. This is very important.
So my tip is that support during a hurricane or disaster. We have this thing in emergency response where we say body system. Look out for one another. You never know what a person's going in, and that's a general thought. Support is necessary during disasters. People may need a little help. Children may need help. Elderly may need help. Support. Be kind. We are obligated to be kind to each other. Share information. Share resources when needed or when even seen to be shared. You know. So that's my tip. Support.
Appreciated. And Dane, and we can see you now, by the way. Hi. You go ahead.
Hello.
You can share your tip.
Right. So my tip would just be falling back on the categories of hurricanes. A lot of times we listen back to hear this category 1 or 4 or 3, 5 to have a sense of how much we need to prepare. But I would just like to share that the category, as we may have noticed, is mostly in regards to the wind speeds and so on. So it does not necessarily indicate damage that could be caused by storm surges or rainfall or flooding and things like that. So let's just be mindful that when we hear category 1, let's not just say, okay, not as strong as a category 4, because a category 1 might give you an amount of flooding that would be just as hazardous as if we had high winds from a higher category. So let's just keep in mind that even if we have the category 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to guide us in the amount of in the destruction of the hurricanes based on winds, but we still have rainfall coming with it, floodings, storm surges, and so on happening as well. That is not indicated by the category of the hurricane. That's my tip.
Thank you, Dane. Thank you for joining us today, everybody. And we always welcome you to come back. You know, the Youth Development Division is all about collaboration and youth empowerment and nation building, right? Anil?
Yeah, and to the people of the villages of Jewelé and Kernillia, the Office of Disaster Management will be visiting you sometime this week.
Awesome.
I do not know the exact date, but I'm just informing you that we will be there in our numbers to educate you and to further equip you or help you understand the hurricane season better. Thank you.
Awesome.
Youth Vibes. You're in tune to Youth Vibes on DBS.
Yes, guys. So as we wrap up, again, it was a pleasure being your host today. And just my final word or comment is a quote actually that says, "I wanted to change the world." It says, when I was a young man, I wanted to change the world. And I found it was difficult to change the world, so I tried to change my nation. I found I couldn't change the nation, and I began to focus on my town. I could not change the town, and as an older man, I tried to change my family. No, as an old man, I realized the only thing that I can change is myself. And suddenly, I realized that if long ago I had changed myself, I could have made an impact on my family. My family and I could have made an impact on our town. Their impact could have changed the nation, and indeed I could have changed the world. So again, guys, when we think about preparedness, we think about just life on a whole. You want to make that type of impact, you need to start with yourself. It was a pleasure being your host today. My name is Jewelé Brown, aka the Empress, signing off from Youth Vibes, brought to you by the Ministry of Youth and also the Youth Development Division. Do have yourself a blessed afternoon as we wrap off and leave with this one by Breathe. Welcome to my island.
Check this one.